Hi there. Welcome to Getting Started with Diffbot's Excel Add-in, Episode 3, Market Intelligence. In this video, we'll work through a series of market intelligence-related processes you can perform or perform better with Diffbot's Excel Add-in. A high-level overview of market intelligence tasks with our add-in starts with the knowledge graph. Diffbot's knowledge graph powers both the search and enhance functionality within the add-in. You could think of our knowledge graph as a relational database of sorts. Our crawlers scour the entire web and pass public web data to our AI systems to derive facts. These facts populate entity types within the knowledge graph, and there are a range of entity types you can access within the Excel add-in that are related to market intelligence processes. Of particular note are organizational entities, person entities, and article entities. For any entity type returned within Excel, you can jump directly into the knowledge graph by clicking on the Diffbot Unique Identifier link. Unlike our previous videos in news monitoring, market intelligence data spans several entity types within the Diffbot data ecosystem. You may begin by searching for organizations based on a set of parameters, and then wish to follow up with person entity information about skill sets of org employees, or you may want to jump to product or article data. In this walkthrough, we'll look at how to return org entities given a set of parameters, namely large American pharmaceutical firms. Then we'll feed these organizations into an article search, seeking mentions of these orgs in relation to COVID-19 vaccine development. To start, find your Diffbot Excel add-in on the right side of the Home tab of the toolbar. Click Search and Create Query. And then make sure you're querying the proper entity type, organization. Start by typing pharma into the industries and selecting pharmaceutical companies. We're looking for large pharmaceutical companies, so let's specify 50,000 minimum employees. You can check at the bottom of the modal to make sure your inputs are realistic in returning entities. Note the 90 entities are returned meeting a criteria of 50K plus employees in the pharma industry. Let's narrow our query even more by specifying United States. It's the nation of interest. And then proceed to click Done. And next, within the Output tab, we could run with only returning general information, as this includes the name that will feed into our article entity query. But for the purposes of an initial walkthrough, we recommend exploring a greater range of output available to you. When you're ready, scroll to the bottom of the pane and click Execute. In a matter of seconds, you should have all pharmaceutical industry orgs from the United States with 50,000 or more employees. Now that we have our 24 megapharmas, return to the query screen and create a new query, and select article type. As our organizations of interest are very large, they're likely to be picked up by our AI as tags or topics within articles. So let's specify our pharma orgs here. You can also specify keyword matches for the names of the returned pharma orgs. It's important to note that multiple inclusions in keywords or tags are processed as or and not and in the logical sense. This means placing pharma names besides the tag or keyword COVID-19 and vaccine will return a combination of articles that matched either pharma orgs or COVID-19. Rather, what we're seeking are articles that mention COVID-19 articles in one of the pharmaceutical companies returned by your org query. If you jump into the Advanced tab, we can take our first look at Diffbot query language. Following along, it should be relatively clear what the query is specifying. We want entities of a type article that include tags labeled with all of the tags we'd entered into the visual query editor. In our case, we need to remove COVID-19 and vaccine from the OR statement. Which we can do by specifying them first. Note that when the query is refreshed, a smaller set of articles are being returned. This is because our query is now specifying return all articles tagged COVID-19 that are also tagged vaccine and that are also tagged one of the pharma companies listed, a subset of all COVID-19 articles. Finally, let's assume we're looking for hopeful articles about vaccine development and add a sentiment parameter, seeking articles with sentiment greater than 0.5. Sentiment scores range from -1, very negative, to 1, very positive. Note that I added sentiment via the Advanced tab, as once you modify a query beyond what you can create in the Visual Query Editor, you must continue editing in DQL, or restart your query. For other queries, you could have also specified sentiment from within the Visual Query Builder. Once we're satisfied with our query, click Done, and then Next. If you're just getting to know article queries within the Excel add-in, we recommend returning all fields to get a view of what's possible. Hit Execute to begin loading the several hundred Big Pharma mentions that included COVID and vaccine tags and were slightly positive. Within the results, note that you can always enter into a Diffbot entity to visually explore it in the knowledge graph. Opening the Diffbot URL for the Boston Globe, we could see contextual information, such as the author, the publisher, extracted tags, more articles on the same topics, and the actual article text. Thanks for watching our overview of some market intelligence techniques you can employ from within Diffbot's Excel add-in. Be sure to check out our related intro videos on lead generation and news monitoring to further build out your skill set with Excel.